testing and expert guidance, homes created to help men and women live their best lives. Home health, feel better, live longer. Get started at homehealth.com/TV. For years, I was using makeup that would cake or crease in my wrinkles. And ultimately, I did not like the way it looked. So I created the perfect kit of makeup for mature skin. I called it Daily Routine. Daily Routine comes with our foundation, our marbleized blush, our natural
hang on, I turn TV down.
our favorite kabuki brush. Daily Routine gives you a natural looking coverage and a beautifully fresh look. Learn more about Daily Routine at laurageller.com.
I'm Jamie, founder of Ray. Our latest invention, Retinal Vision.
Hey, Paul. Afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Very cold here. The sun's coming out off and hides in the clouds. Cold, no snow. Just got done come back with my brother-in-law from buffet we had this morning. So I just text Lucy and hopefully I'll get a response from her. So Paul's first today. Sounds good, Paul. And they go, hey, did I type that in okay? Did you see my banner? Is that all I have to say? Okay. I'll say it too. I'll start saying that again. So, my brother-in-law said that when they went hunting yesterday, they did. Do you know what those chicken birds that you eat? I guess, but they must have caught. They got like 50 people. They were in groups and stuff, about 200 or 50 of them, and then all together they got like 200 chicken birds. I guess yesterday. I told him to send me a picture. I don't know if he will or not, but I haven't gotten it yet. I guess there was a shooting in Texas last night. So hopefully Kay will come in. Well, I got that video from Benny. And glad you made it today. We're gonna have 2 big shows again. Got everything all done, and Chico's starting to whine already. You're fine. You don't need nothing right now. So we're gonna have 2 big shows because that captain, that one guy with the glasses, had a round table with DJ and what's his name from Australia. I'm gonna do an hour and a half on the first show, and then the second half on the second show. Billy came out already with a couple short ones. Come on. There's Chico. You gonna say hi to everybody? Huh? Huh? Hey. No. No, you don't need a bark. Yeah, I got a video. Settle down. There's another dog I think somewhere. He'll stop. Yeah, there's. I guess there was two shooting calls. I got a clip on that. I got Chico, settle down. Stop it. Oh. Okay, Carol, you hear Chico? Oh, hey, Maria. Happy Sunday, everybody. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do Benny's video on one of the shootings. I think he has the. Which one is he? He has the one in Texas. Okay, well, I'll see if I can find a video on that. Finally go. Then there was a major bust in Scottsdale. 173 arrested. We got the X2 report from yesterday. So we got a lot to cover. He's gone, buddy. He's gone.
CIA whistleblower dropping hard evidence.
Okay, I guess we'll get hopefully Kay's listening. So we'll go ahead and get started. And no word on Lucy yet. Tim. All right, the first video will be Benny on that first shooting from last night.
State income tax.
A minute.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. I think that we have the first confirmed terrorist attack as retaliation for the American forces' killing of Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran and the absolute and total demolition of Iranian Guard forces. Ladies and gentlemen, an Austin bar, Austin, Texas, was attacked last night, possibly motivated by the Iran attacks. A Quran was found in the car of the attacker. As FBI eyes terrorism, 2 were killed, 14 were injured. This is an atrocious update and something that is sort of the sum of all fears. The question is, how many terrorists were let into America? How many sleeper cells are currently active in our nation right now because of our open borders? Austin bar mass shooter, possibly motivated by Iran attacks. Quran has been found. This happens on the eve of the announcement of the Ayatollah Khomeini getting killed by U.S. forces. A former New York City resident who killed 2 people and wounded 14 in a packed Austin, Texas bar was possibly motivated by a U.S. attack on Iran. According to the New York Post, sources told the Post the FBI is investigating the shooting as ideologically motivated act of terrorism. So this is an individual from New York City, a U.S. citizen from Senegal. Senegal, a majority Muslim country, had a Quran and clothing described as Islamic garb when he opened fire on Bulford's backyard beer garden at the University of Austin, Texas. According to sources familiar, this individual who was wearing Islamic garb had what, I don't know exactly what that means, a headscarf or whatever, from a Islamic country, and apparently stalked the bar, apparently drove around the bar multiple times, around the block multiple times, looking for soft targets. You have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to keep your wits about you. You should be carrying, you should be exercising your Second Amendment rights. And this could have been so much worse if the police hadn't have acted immediately. Thank God for the police in Austin, Texas. Let's read. The gunman had a history of arrests in Texas, believed to have lived in New York City. Obviously, it's still way too early to process to determine the exact motivation of the subject's vehicle, indicate a potential nexus to terrorism. There are indications inside of the vehicle, obviously a Quran. Acting special agent of the FBI said the attack happened at 2 a.m. Closing time, hundreds of people were leaving the hotspot. A large SUV was spotted traveling around the block several times. He was stalking this bar. Keep your heads on a swivel. Pay attention. SUV stalked the bar, looped the block several times. When he spotted in front of the bar, began shooting out the front window with a pistol, hitting patrons on the front patio. He then parked the car, got out, and began shooting as people walked by. Police confronted the shooter within less than a minute. Imagine if this has gone on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The first gunshot at the intersection of 6th Street shot and killed him. The 2 victims, the shooter died at the scene. So he did kill 2. He injured 14. They were rushed to the hospital. Nobody's been identified so far. The first terrorism attack in response to Iran and the bombing in Iran, ladies and gentlemen. FBI official confirms in a news conference that the shooter at Austin's mass shooting had materials that were indications of a nexus of terrorism. No idea what the other materials might be, but this obviously seems, along with obvious news cycles that are happening right now throughout the world, because there are Americans under attack throughout the Middle East. Dubai is in flames. There are
Another
French
3 minutes.
military bases, American military bases that are actively being bombed. Obviously, Israel is being bombed very severely right now. This seems to be aligned. And the main horrible reality is that there were and are so many more potential attacks. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but consider again what happened to the National Guard members in Washington, D.C., how many people from the caliphate countries, right? How many countries from the Muslim dysphoria that spans all of Asia effectively, how many of them are here, how many of them are here illegally, or how many of them have ties back to terror networks? We know that this is, ladies and gentlemen, ground zero, literally ground zero for the style of attacks that we saw last night. Just a big beer garden. People were drunk. They were leaving at 2 a.m. The officers responded within 57 seconds. Thank God. Thank God. So now Texas will increase patrols at key locations like energy facilities, ports, and southern border to enhance cybersecurity capabilities. Our steadfast commitment to serve and protect the people of this great state, says.
And Squaz, if you're listening, Mel's having a 2:00 video, so maybe we'll have it tonight. She's in Florida, Flying Eagle, 2:00 Florida time.
The Texas Military Department, at the direction of Governor Greg Abbott, we are activating service members for Operation Fury Shield, working alongside our state partners to protect against retaliation. So there we go. FBI says it is a potential act of terrorism. This was an act of terrorism. I mean, it seems like obvious now. This was indeed an act of terrorism. Stay frosty out there. The streets are closed now in Austin. Evidence suggests this is a potential nexus to terrorism.
We want to extend our deepest as well to the victims and their families of this tragic incident.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. 3 people are dead and 17 others were injured. Goodness. FBI confirms last night's mass shooting is, in fact, an act of terrorism here, breaking right now from minutes ago. FBI has confirmed it, circled the block several times. Pay attention, folks. The shooter exited the vehicle with a rifle and continued to fire. They circled the blocks. They were stalking the victims. The police arrived within minutes. The officers killed the gunman. 2 more firearms were found. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, I'm in direct coordination with federal intelligence and law enforcement partners as we continue to closely monitor and thwart any potential threats to the homeland. Kash Patel saying, FBI personnel are fully engaged in the situation overseas. I've instructed counterterrorism and intelligence teams to be on high alert to mobilize security assets as needed. Our security throughout the country is working 24/7, as always, to address and disrupt any potential threats to the homeland. Military handles force protection overseas. The FBI remains at the forefront of deterring attacks here at home and will continue with our team around the clock to protect Americans. Everybody, please report what they see to law enforcement now. Mission first. Yikes. So it's like everybody is getting sort of a counterterrorism positioning now. Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered Texas Military Department to activate service members as part of Operation Fury Shield. The mission is to protect critical infrastructure. Okay. Careful. We know that Americans have died in the operation overseas. Now Americans are dying at home in retaliation attacks. We've seen this before. Obviously, we've seen an onslaught. There's been pretty much a ceaseless, never-ending Islamic terrorist series of attacks in our nation. You had, obviously, the shooting in New Orleans. That happened New Year's. That was a year and a half ago. That was terrible, along with rampages. And there's been just a massive series of other unprovoked Islamic terrorist attacks here in the homeland. And now that the caliphate regime is collapsing, it is time to truly lock in, patriots. Be smart. Be smart. They'll see that they're going to throw all stops at this. They're going to, every signal, every message, every sleeper cell is going to be activated. And whatever they have planned, make sure that you are the one who has eyes out for this. Protect yourself and your families. All right. That's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully this is the precursor to more mass deportations. Right? They said that.
Okay, first Benny one, I got the Florida shooting, then I got the Cincinnati shooting, and then we'll do Billy Bean.
Donaldson, as well as Officer Daniel Valencia, were involved. They've been placed. In a few hours, the police department released the names of the officers involved in that deadly shooting. Detective Taylor Johnson and Nathan Donaldson, as well as Officer Daniel Valencia, were involved. They've been placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard protocol following a shooting.
I guess that's all there was. We'll get to... I want to play this real quick. 1 minute.
My 8-year-old daughter knows it's inappropriate, and yet y'all sit there silent, cowards. If a little boy follows my daughter in that bathroom and touches her, you will have a new weather of dangers. This is ridiculous. You're opening up opportunity for problems to happen. You either create a new bathroom for those who are confused, or you send them to the staff bathroom. Very simple problem. There is no problem what people do on their personal level. That is not my business, nor your business, nor anybody's business. That is their choice. But I tell you what, I want to prove that you're all hypocrites, because each of you ladies, I want you to invite your husbands, and let's go to the bathroom, and I want them to watch me watch you use the bathroom, and let's see if they get mad. Because I bet you'll get mad when I watch your wife. Your husband will get mad when I watch you. Your husband would feel the same as I would about my wife. Now stand up and do something. You're so scared of it's ridiculous. Every single one of you is cowards.
Wow.
Do you want a little boy?
Yep. Wow.
Cincinnati was turning into little Chicago, and I'll be damned if they didn't just prove me right. Look what happened tonight.
So we are live here at Riverfront Live. This is right here on Kellogg Avenue, right in front of the UDF gas station, where Cincinnati Police and Fire Department was dispatched for a report of a shooting, multiple victims. As per units on scene and the hospital, they have said that 12 people have been reportedly shot or have been transported to the hospital at this time. I believe there's some people may still be here on scene that suffered either minor injuries or we don't know the extent of injuries at this time.
And since this report, a 13th has been confirmed to have been shot. I don't know what in the hell's going on in Cincinnati, if it's the leadership or what, but something has to give, because the path they're on right now, they will be little Chicago in no time. Well, stay tuned. And in the meantime, keep it icy.
Yeah, I hope I get another one on that. I'm going to play this one real quick. It's only 2 minutes.
Police say the 3-week operation helped them rescue many trafficking victims or survivors, including one child. Stephen Sarabia is here in the studio to explain what happens from here, Stephen.
Yeah, well, the big goal right now is helping those victims like that child that you mentioned. And trying to help them get the resources they need, like counseling. Now, advocates against human trafficking tell me that it's very important that these traffickers are held accountable, as this is an issue that is very likely happening across the whole valley.
173 arrests in the span of 3 weeks, all related to some form of human trafficking in Scottsdale.
This was a extremely successful endeavor for us.
The arrests range from child sex trafficking, prostitution-related offenses, and luring a minor for sexual exploitation. 40 of the arrests were felony charges. This was done as a sting targeting sex buyers. Lieutenant Peter Michael says they went undercover to catch some of these people.
When we do have detectives that portray themselves as a 13 or 14-year-old persona, we don't actually use juvenile victims. This is all digital. It's through text messaging.
Scottsdale Police does this operation every year. For 2025, they arrested 202 people. The mayor making it clear that traffickers have no place in their city.
If you attempt to prey on the vulnerable here in our city, you will not succeed. And you will be caught.
One, it tells people who are coming to town or our locals, do not buy sex here.
When it comes to stopping any form of trafficking, advocates say it's important people report it when they see it happening.
You can also talk to your family about trafficking, talk to your kids about it, watch who they're talking to on the phone, on gaming systems, making sure that your kids know what trafficking is.
While this operation happened around the time of the WM Open, Scottsdale Police says that was just a coincidence. Now, for how to report trafficking as well as what signs to look out for, head on over to our website, azfamily.com. Live in the studio, I'm Steven Sarabia with Arizona's Family.
Okay, that was a bust there. We'll get Billy Bean's first 20 and then a second short clip.
On 2026 time in Texas, about 11 a.m. Have we already seen a sleeper cell hit? And this taking place in Texas? And we say rest in peace, 3 U.S. military. Iran is currently sinking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So let's get started. In my last video, I put out that U.S. Intel had put out that both the FBI and Homeland Security had evidence that Iran had activated sleeper cells inside the U.S. Overnight, we had 2 mass shootings, one in Cincinnati with 9 shot. None were dead. We had police investigating, but the shooter got away. The more puzzling and shooting took place last night in Austin, Texas on 6th Street. 6th Street is a string of clubs. And what we know so far is that 3 are dead. We had 14 injured. And among the dead was the shooter, who came to 6th Street with a rifle and pistol. Now, 10 hours later, we still don't know an ID of this shooter, which is not believable. But we are also finding out, I mean, that would only occur if both the police, the media had been told by most probably a federal agency tapped down that information. But we are learning that that shooting in Austin, Texas is also being investigated by a federal group, Joint Terrorism. So that's going on. Is it possible that there was a sleeper cell individual activated in Texas to bring about this shooting in Austin, Texas last night? I find it highly believable, particularly in view of the fact that the ID of the shooter is being withheld, and we see a federal agents group, Joint Terrorism, investigating. So keep your powder dry, baby. And we have this. Rest in peace. We had 3 American troops killed in the Middle East and 5 injured. While it is not being put forth by the U.S. military where this occurred, the U.S. military is putting forth this statement that 3 American troops have been killed and 5 injured in the Middle East. I put forth this. We have coming out from Israeli News Live that Iran has made repeated and massive hits on the U.S. base in Qatar that has sustained massive damage. So in my mind, it's possible that these 3 deaths and 5 injured could have occurred at the Qatar U.S. military base. We're also hearing Iran is sinking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. As I put out in my last video, the first ship Iran sank was its own Navy ship. But now Iran has sank a second ship. It's believed to be a tanker named Starlight. So expect tomorrow for oil prices to escalate, spike. And we have this. President Trump has made a statement about the U.S. operation in Iran, Epic Fury, and says that the U.S. plan is ahead of schedule. We have also had a U.S. base hit by Iran in Iraq. And Iran has hit the airport in the UAE twice. We have U.S. CENTCOM coming out to say, so we've been seeing information that the U.S. strike carrier group Lincoln in the Arabian Sea has been hit by Iran. CENTCOM comes out and says that is not true. And we have from another source that the IRGC is now transmitting on a marine distress channel saying to ships, don't come into the Strait of Hormuz. And we have information coming out now from multiple sources that the Chinese and Russian juiced up air defense systems did not help Iran. And we have this, from Israeli News Live. Iran has hit multiple U.S. bases. The Qatar U.S. base has suffered massive damage. And that Israel and Tel Aviv has also been hit by Iran. And it is noticed that these hits on U.S. bases and in Israel, that Iran is using much larger missiles. So that's going on. Keep your powder dry, baby. It's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that was your short one. I'm going to do I guess it's 18 minutes.
Texas, about 9 a.m. A flash update confirmed there are activated sleeper cells inside the U.S. We have Iran now hitting the UK. You know, the UK didn't want UK bases to be used by the U.S. Well, Iran is hitting UK bases in the Middle East. We have the lower rank IRGC running for their lives out of Iran. And as the result of what's being described as exquisite intel, The U.S. and Israel were able, in the first minutes of the strike Saturday, to take out the Ayatollah plus 40 top leaders. We understand Iran is in a quandary today. It appears their military is in disarray. And just think, this is a nation, I believe, that has nukes. So let's get started. So I take this from Facebook. President Trump, dear Iran, I'm not Obama. Remember, Obama went to Iran with planes and pallets full of cash, while we see President Trump coming to Iran with planes and bombs. That's what we elected you to do, President Trump. We have this. I have confirmed intel that the FBI, the Homeland Security, other government agencies have evidence that Iranian sleeper cells inside the U.S. have been activated and given orders to attack. And it's believed these paramilitary groups certainly have all kinds of weapons, explosives, and terrorist training. And a list of possible attack areas includes famous hotels, airports, our grid, including electricity, water, natural gas, railroads, and I have a railroad close to me, key highway bridges, and it's good to avoid crowds such as concerts and sports. And if you see something, say something, and baby, keep your powder dry. So that's going on. Iranian sleeper cells, the FBI and Homeland Security have evidence that Iranian sleeper cells have been activated inside the U.S. and given orders to attack. And prayer is also good. So we have this coming out. We heard from the UK, Keir Starmer, who many believe is firmly in the pocket of the CCP, saying that the U.S. and Israel could not use UK bases. We know to hit
I think that was am I still 5x5? They gave me a warning Flying Eagle on that video. I guess I had to stop it. That's kind of unusual for Billy Bean. I'm going to do the X2 report from yesterday. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, they give me a warning.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3850 AM. Today's date is February 28th, 2026. The title of the episode is Central Bank Used the Supreme Court to Try to Bring Down the Economy, Increase Tariffs. We'll stop it. Now, you know, it's very interesting. If you're like me and you're getting to that age where your body just feels sluggish and off all the time, then listen up. Because Dr. Josh explains that most of the time, this is caused by clogged liver. You probably already heard about how important your liver is for detoxification, digestion, and energy levels. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea how clogged and overburdened the liver actually is. Eating processed food, drink, and even stress, these things can take a toll, leaving your liver clogged. And it's important not to let this go unchecked because your liver is the most important organ in your body, being responsible for the proper function of nearly every system in your body, from digestion to metabolism to detoxification. Essentially, a healthy liver equals a healthy you. That's why Dr. Josh, a practicing doctor with over 25 years medical experience, formulated a special liver supplement called Ultra Liver that acts like a deep cleanse for your entire body. He told me that Ultra Liver just crossed over 500,000 bottles sold and has received thousands of 5-star reviews from happy customers and patients. So say goodbye to chronic fatigue, bloating, and skin, and say hello to renewed energy, clear thinking, and a body that is operating 100% again. And this is powerful stuff. You're not going to get results like this from any random liver supplement. Dr. Josh put his 25 plus years of experience into Ultra Liver to make sure that it actually does what it's supposed to. So if you're ready to unclog your liver and flush the dangerous toxins that are sapping your energy and preventing you from losing weight, just go to tryultraliver.com/X22 to get your hands on Ultra Liver today. By the way, it's your lucky day because Dr. Josh is running a summer sale where you can get up to 50% off Ultra Liver for a limited time. But this special offer is only available through our link for our audience. The link is right below this video in the description box. Do yourself a favor and go click it and take back control of your liver health today. That is tryultraliver.com/X22. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see every step of the way they are trying to bring down the economic system. And they're trying to stop Trump. Remember, no matter if Trump was in office or not in office, it makes no difference because the deep state, the central bankers, they were on a path to do what? To bring down their old system and bring us into a new system. So they really don't care if the system works or doesn't work because their main objective is to bring down the system. Now, I do believe that since Trump now is in office, they're going to make the case that he's the one who is destroying the economy. And this is what they've been trying to do. Yes, they're trying to use the shutdown. Yes, they're trying to use it to ruin the economy. Is that going to work? Absolutely not. They brought a lawsuit against the tariffs that he's implementing. And yes, this was made up of the central bank, foreign entities, the deep state players. And they're trying to use the refund part of the ruling to basically destroy the economic system. And this is why, as soon as the ruling came out, Trump went ahead and said, listen, we're going to be placing 10% tariffs on everyone, and we're going to be upping this to about 15%. He did this on purpose because the central bank, they're hoping, and the deep state players and foreign entities, they're hoping that by refunding, this will destroy the economic system and bring it to a point where they could say, hey, look, he's the one who did this. You have to remember, Trump has been building the parallel economic system, competing against the central bank system, and actually making the country stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is something the deep state, the central bankers do not want. They never wanted this. And they never expected him to actually build it so quickly. And you could see that Trump has been dismantling everything that they put together, everything that they've done, the Green New Scam, the Great Reset, you name it. It's all being dismantled right in front of their eyes, and they're trying to stop it. And this is why I said from the very beginning, when all else fails, I do believe the deep state, the central bankers, they will try to stop Trump with probably the only way they know how to stop them. And that's probably using some type of cyber attack and trying to bring us to war. Now, is that going to work? Absolutely not, because you could see that Trump is dismantling all their rogue nations. Everything that they put together to launder the money, everything that they put together to keep their system running, he is now dismantling. I mean, if you look at what's happening with the solar industry, the wind industry, that is one gigantic scam, just like the entire Green New scam is a scam, just like the climate change thing. That's a scam. It's all a scam because all they really wanted was to tax the people, to keep them enslaved. And they wanted to do this worldwide. This is why they were pushing the carbon taxes. How do you push carbon taxes? Well, you need to scare the people. If we don't save the planet, if we don't use the sun, if we don't use the wind, everything is going to be falling apart in a matter of years. And they said this 10 years ago, 10 years before that, 10 years before. And they use fear to try to convince you that we need these other things. And these other things, it's just a money laundering system. I mean, look at California, for example. Marin Nafal put this out. California Doge claims California took nearly $1 billion meant for solar panels on apartment buildings and funneled it into Democratic voter registration and left-wing activist groups. Only $72 million allegedly went to the actual solar projects. The rest, building a political machine in low-income neighborhoods under the guise of green energy. So once again, you could see what they do. They have billions of dollars, but they use a very small percentage of it going for solar panels. So it looks like they're doing something, just like the train, the high-speed train. The rest is funneled off in other places. And to scare people and to get people on the side of their entire agenda, they fund organizations like Greenpeace. And now Greenpeace is in trouble. They're going bankrupt. Nick Sorter put this out and said, a judge has finalized a $345 million verdict against the leftist group Greenpeace after their environmental militants attempted to violently block the Dakota Access oil pipeline. Greenpeace now says they'll be likely forced into bankruptcy. So remember, everything the deep state, the central bankers have done, they've done it to push you and to scare you in a certain direction. They want you to feel like you have to pay for the environment, that you'll freely just pay carbon taxes. They scare you. Well, it's because of you that the world is, the way it is. So you're going to have to pay for that. They used organizations and groups to say, look, we want, a world full of green and we want to use solar. We want to use wind. So we're going to attack the big, scary oil companies. And this is what they've done for a very long time. And now you could see it's completely and utterly falling apart. And you can see that Trump, he's making the economy better and better every single day. And this is what the deep state, the central bankers don't want. This is why they're going to be attacking him at every angle, because as he continually makes the economy better, they're going to try to stop him every step of the way. And that's what that the first lawsuit against the tariffs was. Let's see if we can stop him. The problem, you never know the full story until after it's too late. And here's the brutal truth. You can't protect yourself after. You have to be ready now. All this uncertainty, the chaos, the warning signs, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just noise. Maybe it's just the beginning of something bigger. Nobody knows for sure, but waiting to find out, that's how people get hurt. Physical gold and silver aren't just investments. They're preparation. They're the foundation of real protection. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have been helping Americans.
Drinking warm water with cinnamon before bed eliminates this parasite from the pancreas and resets blood sugar levels and reverses type 2. This is the last time I'm sharing this here. Just a 15-second native trick forces your body to urinate out this disgusting creature and lower A1C in just a few hours. 9 out of 10 Americans have type 2 and less than 1% know it. The real culprit of type 2 isn't sugar or carbs, but a 1.2-inch parasite that lives attached to the pancreas, sucking out your beta cells and insulin. This parasite causes fatigue, excessive hunger, frequent bathroom trips, and tingling in your hands and feet. The good news is that a study conducted in 2024 by a Japanese university shows that this parasite is very weak, and a trick done with a handful of cinnamon can eliminate it in an impressive 3 minutes. After a few hours, you'll notice a huge relief in your
protect themselves for nearly a decade. No pressure, no games, just proven insight when it matters most. Look, you're either prepared or you're not. Which one will you be when everything changes overnight? Visit x22gold.com to receive your free wealth protection kit. That is x22gold.com. And remember, the prepared don't panic, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Have the Supreme Court, because a lot of them are controlled by foreign entities. Let's have them rule that that the Trump administration has to refund all the companies. Because again, what are they trying to do? They're trying to bring down the system. But if you look at the mortgage rates, I mean, a lot of people are not talking about this. Mortgage rates now have dropped under 6% for the first time since 2022. And this is absolutely incredible. And think about what's going to happen when Trump gets control of the Federal Reserve. Of course, he's placed the person in there and he's going to make some suggestions saying, hey, by the way, we should be lowering the rates. That's my suggestion. And all of a sudden, you're going to see rates come down. And I do believe you're going to see them come down quite a bit. But you can see the deep state players, they're trying to push the economy in a certain direction where they want it destroyed. Because again, their entire mission is to bring us into their new system. And this is why you have Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer out there, and other, of course, Democrats, saying that they're demanding refunds for their constituents after the Supreme Court struck down the bulk of President Trump's tariffs agenda last week. So basically, they wrote a letter and they addressed it to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And they're saying, we need you to start refunding everyone. Now, think about where they're pushing this. Think about what they're doing right now. They're hoping that by doing this, by pushing the refunds, that they destroy the economy. They're hoping that with the refunds that are going on, it destroys what Trump has been building. So remember, the central bank doesn't want any competition. The deep state players, they want the money still continually flowing in. They want it borrowed from the Federal Reserve. Because with tariffs, guess what? There's a finite amount coming in. They just can't ask for $3 trillion. It doesn't work that way, where they can, launder it across the globe. So right now, you can see this is their main objective. But Trump, every step of the way, he's showing everyone, look, tariffs are good. It gives me a strategic edge over other countries. It's making manufacturers come back to this country. It's funding this country. And it doesn't cause inflation because we're not creating new currency and putting it into circulation. And we're going to bring in so much that it's going to benefit the people. So the money is going to be used here in this country. And we're getting it externally. Trump, he put this out and said tariffs have influenced Novartis and its great leader, Vasant Narasimhan, MD, to build 7+ manufacturing and R&D facilities, creating thousands of jobs. The radical left and the lunatics who are suing against tariffs refuse to talk about this. But the same thing is happening with hundreds of other companies. And that's the whole point of this. And this is why they don't want Trump to succeed with his tariff system, because it's a direct competition to the central bank system. And as it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, the central bank, the deep state players, will not be able to fight against it. And Trump is letting everyone know that the Supreme Court decision is terrible for the United States. It doesn't help the United States. It actually hurts the United States and actually allows the other countries to benefit. This is what he put out on Truth. The recent decision of the United States Supreme Court concerning tariffs could allow for hundreds of billions of dollars to be returned to countries and companies that have been ripping off the United States of America for many years. And now, according to this decision, could actually continue to do so at an even increased level. I am sure the Supreme Court did not have this in mind. It doesn't make sense that countries and companies that took advantage of us for decades, receiving billions and billions of dollars that they should not have been allowed to receive, would now be entitled to an undeserved windfall, the likes of which the world has never seen before. As a result of this highly disappointing, to say at least, ruling, is a rehearing or readjudication of this case possible? President Donald J. Trump. So he's asking, wait a minute, can the Supreme Court rehear the case? Now, once again, it is technically possible for the government to petition for rehearing, as the 25-day window ending around March 17, 2026 is still open as of February 27, 2026. The Supreme Court grants rehearings extremely rarely, often going decades without doing so in a way that changes the outcome, and typically only for procedural fixes, not to reverse substantive rulings due to disagreements. Now, once again, we've seen many things happen. The Supreme Court ruled on Roe versus Wade, but reversed that decision. Now, once again, Trump is asking the Supreme Court, do the right thing. He's already called them out. He already let everyone know they're controlled by foreign entities. And once again, they will be responsible for destroying America. And once again, Scott Bessent said that refunding tariffs, they're going to be a problem and it might hurt the economy. So basically, he's letting everyone know that, yes, this is going to be a little bit difficult. And if the people are paying for all this, would it actually go to the people? No, it's going to go to countries, go to corporations. Do you really think the corporations are going to then send it to the people? No, absolutely not. But again, the deep state players, the central bankers, they know exactly what they're doing here. Because again, when you start to refund, this puts a lot of stress on the economy. It also removes the leverage that Trump had, because again, the other countries are going to say, okay, listen, the Supreme Court ruled against him. Maybe I don't really have to deal with Trump because maybe he'll be removed later on. So this has a lot larger ramifications. And you could see that this is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to bring down the system any way they possibly can. And they're trying to make it so that Trump doesn't have the leverage. So when you look at this, you could see that this is going to be very, very difficult to do. And secondly, I do believe they want to hurt the economy because, again, if you're taking it out of the Treasury is going to have to refund the companies. It's going to take years to do this, refund different countries. And then Trump loses, and actually the United States loses the leverage because, again, the other countries, they're not going to see it as something that might stay, that they're going to see it as something that's temporary. And this is what Trump is talking about right now. But again, even though they want Trump to refund, the 10 to 15% tariffs would counteract the potential benefits of these refunds in several ways. Many of the same companies suing for refunds on the old IEEPA tariffs will now face similar costs under the new Section 122 tariffs. So basically, they're going to sue for the money to be returned, but the new tariffs, they're going to have to pay. So are they getting any money back? No, they're not. So you could see what they're trying to do, but is it going to work? No, I don't believe so. And you can see there, Trump is now telling the Supreme Court, and the government now is going to basically say, let's revisit this and let's see how this all plays out in the end. But again, we know these deep state, the central bankers, from the very, very beginning, they do not want Trump to build this parallel economic system. And you can see this is how they're trying to stop him. Now, when all else fails and realize that suing and trying to stop him in this way doesn't work, I do believe they'll probably take it to the next level. And we know their entire agenda, their mission is to down their old system, not just here, but around the world. I mean, if you go back to COVID, that's why they told us Great Reset. That's why they were hoping the entire world would be shut down for 10 years. Everyone would be hiding in their houses, afraid to come out, because they wanted the economic system to fall apart. Before that, they were going to use war to bring down the economic system around the world. And
you absolutely can reverse a cavity, and I'm going to prove it to you.
Drinking warm water before bed fixed.
Restart it after the war. Now, all they have left is probably war, cyber attack, to bring down the system, to say the financial institutions, that they're not functioning. And if Trump doesn't have the parallel economic system, this might work. But since Trump has the parallel economic system, this causes a problem for them. Because again, when the central bank system and the banking system falls apart, Trump has another way of bringing in funds. The Treasury has a lot of funds standing by. So this is why they're trying to go after him. But you can see that Trump, his system's getting stronger and stronger every single day. And when the people start to feel the benefit of the tariff system, remember, the people haven't really felt anything yet. They've heard about it, they've seen it, but they haven't felt the benefits of the tariff system. I mean, the first part of it with the one big beautiful bill, they're going to get the tax refunds. But when they start to see all the construction jobs, which they're starting to see now, all of a sudden spring up, and you see the factories being built after, by the end of this year, we'll probably have one of them built or a couple of them. That's when they're going to start to see that, wow, jobs are really starting to come into play here. I could see what Trump is doing when he removes the income tax and he says the tariffs are going to be paying for it. The people, they'll feel that. They'll understand that. You see, when all these things start to happen over this year, the course of this year, and especially next year, the people will start to understand that the tariff system is something that we need. And it's much, much better than the central banking system. And this is something the central bankers don't want the people to see, because again, once the people experience it, once the people actually see it, once the people live it, there's no way to convince them that the other way was better. And this is why they're trying to stop Trump right now, because they know after Trump, we go through this year and we start to head into next year, and especially when we win the midterms, they know they're screwed. They're done. That's it. That's why the only thing that they'll have left, most likely, is a cyber attack. And I don't think it's going to work the way they think it's going to work. I think Trump and the Patriots, I think they know the playbook of all this. They know eventually they're going to try to bring down their own system because they have no choice whatsoever. This is why Trump has been building a new system to be prepared and ready for what is to come. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Okay, that was yesterday's actual report. So I got about 6 short ones. Then an 8-minute one. Then I'm going to do an hour or a 3-hour roundtable, but I'm going to do an hour and a half on this show. Then we'll do the second half on the second show, because it's a 3-hour roundtable with that one guy that everybody likes on Rumble. What's his name? With DJ and so they had one last night. So we'll get that after we get all of these clips done. Three minutes.
47 United States Code 606, which extended his powers as president. You got to go read that and understand, when a president activates the National Guard to federal duty, which he did January the 6th and January the 17th, 2021, when you go back, when you read Title 32, Title 10 United States Code 246, 47 United States Code 606, on my first video that went viral, it was so hot that day and I was on a rant. I said 10 United States Code. No, I said 47 United States Code 246. I combined them. It's 10 United States Code 246 and 47 United States Code 606. See how many codes there are? And a lot of you are just hearing that for the first time. I mean, just think, that's just a few little codes. There's a lot of codes. There's a lot of Constitution. There's a lot of military, uniform code of military justice. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. That's why you can't just be someone who's sitting down here and just pick up one article for one day and then lose your mind over it, when you got to get up here, like I said yesterday, get on the 40,000 foot view and look down. You got to hang on with someone like me who watches this every day, and I've been watching it for years. All right, now I'm coming at a different angle than a lot of these others who've been watching for years. I'm coming from the angle of straight up law, military regulation, military symbols, military operations, military optics, the Constitution, the U.S. law, which is federal law, and U.S. codes, all right, which all have acts and all these other things that come with it. So I'm coming from that angle. So I didn't want to start a video that bashes people, but I am very ticked off. As a United States veteran, I'm very pissed, and I'm a pissed off American that so many people have platforms and they're not telling you, the people, what's going on by law and order, which is the premise of our nation first. That's what we stand on. Like I said, I'm driving right now. I'm perfectly safe. I got my little boy back here. He's asleep now. I got my boy safe. We're okay. But if I break the law, if I'm speeding and I go to court and I tell that judge, man, that sign's just a suggestion to me. That sign don't mean anything to me. What do you think he's going to do to me? What do you think he's going to say? He probably won't say anything. I'm probably going to hear that big old gavel fall pretty quick, and I'm going to hear pay to the court, right? So law and order, same thing. Like I bring up the example of divorce court, divorces. Some of you have been through divorces. I've never been through one, but I've heard about them. And attorneys don't care about he said, she said. They go by law, fact.
Okay, that was a short one. I got another short one. This one, I believe, is 5 minutes.
They started telling you that, the termination of the Constitution. No, if you knew the law, if you knew the Constitution, the highest law in the land, you would know, there's an actual clause called the suspension clause. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 is called the suspension clause. Congress can suspend the Constitution. That was your visual back then. That was validation then if you were following along. The other thing is, President Trump told you recently, he just said this like a couple weeks ago again. He said, I've signed over 400 executive actions, not orders, actions. There's only 152 on the Federal Register right now from January the 20th to present day. There's only 152 from executive orders, proclamations, and other documents. Only 152. Where are the others? He said, I've signed 4 presidential emergency action documents. Now, this is where we're going to get into some fun stuff. Why are so many ambassadors that President Trump is appointing, why are they veterans? Do you know what they call an ambassador in the military? I'm just going to pretend that someone's going to answer, but we don't have that kind of time. An ambassador is also called a chief of mission, a COM. Chief of mission. Now, we're going to read a little bit here. I'm going to pull up some stuff and read for you. Some fun stuff. All right, Title 50, Section 3052 talks about your ambassadors. All right. There's that Title 50 again. Whoa, what do you know? War and national defense. Boy, if only some influencers out there would get with the program, but they can't because they'll have to do what? They'll have to give credit where it's due because they didn't know and they've gone too long without knowing. All right, joint publication. We're going to read this really quick. Joint publication 3-57. All right, I'm going to read this really quick. You can all look this up. All public material. You should want to look it up. Letter C on page 23. All right. Promoting stability in support of national objectives is often a key responsibility. Stability activities include military missions conducted by GCCs and subordinate commanders in coordination with other United States government departments and agencies and their implementing partners. JFCs, in coordination with the chief of mission, may use components of CMO as a tool to mitigate suffering. The next line down is a title, Military Government. A military government is established during military operations when replacement or sustainment of civil authority is required to maintain stability and governance in an area that has been legally occupied. Military government supports the United States instruments of national power abroad through executive governance tasks mandated by United States policy and international law. The objective of a military government is to establish law and order for United States government stabilization and reconstruction efforts. The end state of which is a reconstructed indigenous government that employs government policies consistent with United States interests. When force is necessary and a territory is occupied, the occupying force imposes military authority, the law of land warfare. You got to read all this. Then also on page 26, all right, we'll read that really quick. Let me find it where I'm at. Let's see. The combatant commander may conduct CMO to support the calm and enhance host nation legitimacy. So when you go to page 26, you need to learn about host nations and what the chief of missions role is with the host nation. All right. And also in this joint public. All right. So the visualization was.
Okay, we got 2 DJs in. Anybody see this one?
He spent time sort of standing there and held my hand longer than he should have.
From the most humiliated woman on the planet to someone making millions from that same humiliation, Monica Lewinsky's story sounds unreal. In 1998, at the heart of the biggest political scandal in history, she earned $1 million from a single interview and another $500,000 from her book. And people were shocked. But here's the part hardly anyone talks about. For 6 long years, she fought almost completely alone, facing not just the public, but the media, the law, and her biggest adversary, Hillary Clinton, who even dragged Monica's own mother into court, forcing her to testify against her daughter. And yet, today, she's living a life that looks almost impossible. Her bank account tells a story that doesn't match her fame. And the reason why changes everything you thought you knew about her. Let's dive in. A traumatic background. Monica Lewinsky was born on July 23, 1973 in San Francisco. Her father, Bernard Lewinsky, was a successful oncologist. Her mother, Marcia Lewis, was socially ambitious and later became an author. From the outside, it looked like a dream. She lived in a $1.6 million Spanish-style mansion. Vacations cost tens of thousands of dollars a year. There were private tennis lessons, drama classes, designer clothes, and luxury cars. She attended elite schools like John Thomas Dye School and Beverly Hills High, where wealth and appearance quietly shaped social life. But life inside that house wasn't nearly as polished. Her parents' marriage had been tense for years before it finally broke up in 1987. Monica was just 14. The divorce was bitter and public. Court documents described shouting, accusations, and emotional outbursts. Therapy became part of everyday life. The family spent a significant amount each month on psychiatric care for the children. At 16, Monica was sent to an eating disorder clinic. Friends later said she often tried too hard to impress people, laughing louder, dressing bolder, wanting to be noticed. And there's something important here. She didn't believe she was enough on her own. As a teenager, she entered a long, secret relationship with her high school drama teacher, Andy Blyler. He was married and much older. The relationship lasted several years. It stayed hidden. And it quietly shaped her understanding of love, attention, and power. By 1995, she graduated from college with a psychology degree. She was 22. Smart, outgoing, still looking for validation. Soon, through family connections, she would arrive in Washington, D.C., about to step into the orbit of the most powerful man on earth, and nothing from her past had prepared her for what was coming next. The Clinton scandal. In July 1995, at just 21 years old, Monica Lewinsky arrived at the White House as an unpaid intern.
He, paid a lot of attention to me. He spent time sort of.
How's that one, you guys?
You want to know why? Because for the first time in 4 years, we have a president who is actually restoring law and order, and the government gangsters are terrified. They are throwing everything they have at the wall to distract you from the success of the America First agenda. Let's start with this nonsense coming from Gavin Newsom. The man who turned California into a third world failed state has the audacity to mock our border enforcement. They're crying about cuffing season and trying to frame the brave men and women of Border Patrol as villains. Let me be clear. When President Trump says it's time to secure the border, that isn't a joke. It's a promise kept. The days of catch and release are over. If you break our laws, you get cuffed and you go home. It's called sovereignty. It's called national security. And the American people voted for it in a landslide because they are sick of the invasion. Now, look at how they are spinning the Trump gold card. The fake news wants you to believe this is some kind of scheme for Russian oligarchs. It is the same old Russia hoax playbook they have been running since 2016. They have zero creativity and zero shame. The truth, the gold card is about merit. It is about bringing the best, the brightest, and the wealthiest investors into the United States to build factories here, not in China. While the left wants open borders for terrorists and criminals to drain our resources, President Trump is saying, if you have capital, if you respect our laws, and if you want to invest in America, we want you. That is not selling out. That is smart, strategic economic dominance. And have you seen them whining about the Head Start program? They are furious because the administration issued guidance on language. They call it banning words. We call it stopping the indoctrination of your children. They are mad because they can't use taxpayer money to push radical gender theory and woke buzzwords on toddlers anymore. We are returning to education, not activism. If getting words like systemic bias out of a preschool curriculum makes the media mad, then we are doing the exact right thing. Finally, let's talk about the economy. They are rolling out these corrupted bureaucrats from the Federal Reserve, the same people who told you inflation was transitory, to attack the president's tariff strategy. They are panicked because President Trump is ripping up the globalist rulebook. John Deere and these other corporations are complaining? Good. Maybe they should stop shipping jobs overseas and start building American. The president is taking cognitive tests and acing them while the media ignores the fact that they covered up for a cognitive decline for 4 years. He is sharp, he is focused, and he is dismantling the deep state piece by piece. Don't let the noise distract you. Gavin Newsom's TikToks are a distraction. The banned words outrage is a distraction. They are terrified because they know their time is up. We are securing the border, we are fixing the economy, and we are taking our country back. The storm is here. The mainstream media apparatus and the radical left are in absolute meltdown mode right now. You want to know why? Because for the first time in 4 years, we have a president who is actually restoring law and order, and the government gangsters are
Paul Scott, is that Paul? Or is it? We got two Pauls in here, or is it? Oh, no, it's our regular Paul. Okay. Yeah, I guess that was AI. I guess I won't play that one either no more. I'm not playing that other one since it's AI. Okay, see what I'm at here. Okay, we got two of our lady here.
Now is the time. Yesterday was the time. Now is the time. You need to go get it, and you need to be prepared, and you need to be aware of your surroundings. It has started. Texas, the guy that did it, that unalived those people, is being investigated as terrorism. He screamed Allah, was a naturalized citizen, and was for Iran, and screamed out, "This is for Iran." Okay? It started. Iran can't reach us with their missiles, so they're awakening their you-know-what. The last time I got on here and tried to tell you guys about this, they fucking flagged my account, and they took down my video saying misinformation. They are here. They have been activated. I can guarantee you that. It may not all happen at once, but it's going to start happening. Do not come on to my comments, you're liberal motherfuckers, telling me you can't carry here, you can't carry there. Use your common sense. Y'all don't carry anyway. All y'all good at is throwing frozen ice bottles. Did you guys know that before 1979, women were allowed to vote, to do whatever they wanted to? They were in parliament. Everything was perfect. In fact, they were more West than we are right now. It was a wonderful place to live until the Islamic revolution. So for all of you that are electing these people in and who are celebrating this, and all of you white liberal women that are in the streets screaming and hollering and throwing and acting like spray roaches, how long do you think that's going to last if that happens here? Hey, let me tell you something. Everything was perfect and over fucking night. It was over. It was over. Remember that. Remember that when you're wishing for something, when you're sitting around wishing for this bad stuff to happen to somebody, just remember overnight things can change. Listen to me and listen to me carefully. If you have not went and got a permit, and if you don't carry.
Okay, got one more.
Trump does, the Democrats are going to protest against it. So they are calling for Congress to hurry up and come back so that they can vote to stop President Trump from doing what he's doing in Iran. We've got people in Iran celebrating in the streets. We've got women tearing those things off of their heads and celebrating and screaming Trump's name and thanking him. And yet our own members of Congress are calling to put a stop to this. The problem is for them that Trump can veto this and keep doing right what he's doing. But now they're screaming impeachment. Surprise, surprise. You know, it's really strange to me how you guys screamed and hollered and went crazy about free Palestine. You've got Iranians, over 35,000 of them, that have been taken out brutally by their own government. And y'all ain't said a fucking thing. Y'all don't care unless it serves your purpose. This Ayatollah had a bounty on President Trump's head. Of course, y'all were happy about that. You were hoping that would happen. They had a huge hand in October the 7th. So President Trump does what all the other presidents wanted us to do. And now you guys have a problem with this too, right? So once again, if President Trump came out and absolutely said he has been working behind the scenes, here's the vial. All you have to do if you have cancer is swallow this stuff in this vial. You guys would try to pass a bill to stop it. You would do everything in your power to stop it. What is the cure to the sickness that is running through the veins of the Democrats and the left? What is the cure for the hate for America? I am so beyond fed up. We've got white women in the streets over here protesting everything you can think of, dressing up as damn any kind of characters, doing stupid ass aerobics in the street. You got women over in Iran screaming and hollering and chanting Trump's name. We got a sickness going on here in the United States. What's the cure for that? So apparently it's true. It doesn't matter what Trump does.
Okay, those two for today. 8-minute one, and I'm going to do that long round table, you guys. And then we'll save the rest for tonight's show.
Influencers, people that I'm going to start to refer to as the demons of propaganda. You know them. You've seen them. And no, I'm not talking about the leftist propagandists that are getting paid from Chorus Media and the 1630 funds, the Harry Sissons of the world. No. I'm talking about the fake ass black pill America First crowd that have all seemed to coalesce around Candace Owens and her fake slop narratives that she's been spinning since Charlie Kirk's assassination. And one of the biggest lieutenants of the Demons of Propaganda cult is a guy by the name of Ryan Matta. Now, you've probably seen Ryan's content. He does a pretty good job in terms of production value, but he just did one of the most horrifically unthinkable things that anybody in this space can possibly do if they care at all about accuracy. And I want to be clear about one thing. I tried to reach out to Ryan directly through DMs on X over the last 24 hours to help clear the record on what I'm getting ready to show you, to give him an opportunity to clear it up. And he's ignored me. I've commented on multiple of his videos dozens of times over the last 24 hours to draw his attention to this disgusting display of propaganda. And he's ignored me. I tagged him multiple times on my own X account to get his attention, and he's ignored me. And the reason he's ignored me, in my opinion, is even worse. So if you've been on social media over the last 4 days, you have probably seen clips or the entire video that Ryan Matta put together alleging that Bibi Netanyahu said one of the most disgusting things that any human being could possibly say back in 1990.
This is word for word, verbatim, from the Jerusalem Post by Benjamin Netanyahu in 1990. If we get caught, they will just replace us with a person from the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we create and control. Why? Because it's God's will. And America is big enough to take the hit, so we can do it again and again and again. This is